watched it last night. I love UFC.
In this next video, we are going to continue the practice final. So this next problem, listed as number 11 here on the practice final, introduces PEMDAS. Okay, so let me write that down. Now let's talk about PEMDAS as a means to dictate our order of operations. Turns out, PEMDAS, as written, is a little bit misleading. Okay, the first parts are easy. That stands for parentheses. This is exponents. But here's where it gets a little misleading. This would make you believe that multiplication comes before division. That is not true. They have equal weight. So if you have an equation or an expression where you have division and multiplication going on, even though PEMDAS would have you believe that multiplication comes before division, that is not true. They are of equal weight. So in this expression over here, you do whatever comes first. It is first come, first serve with respect to division and multiplication. So here you would divide 3 by 1 and then multiply by 4. Same thing with addition and subtraction. Very misleading. The way PEMDAS is written would make you believe that addition always comes before subtraction. That is not true. If you have this going on, this is subtraction, this is addition. They have equal weight. Therefore, it's first come, first served, moving from left to right. So this would be subtraction. First, 6 minus 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5. Okay, let's go to our problem. Okay, so what do we have? We have parentheses, and we have an exponent, multiplication and division. Okay, I'm going to try to keep PEMDAS written up here. Okay, so we have 6 minus 9 divided by 3 times 5 squared. We do parentheses first. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Next, we're going to do exponent. It's going to be 25. 6 minus 3 times 75. Now, the key when you do these is, as you simplify, you reevaluate. So now this becomes a brand new problem. We completely forget what we had prior to that. It is completely irrelevant. Okay. So now we have multiplication and subtraction. So clearly multiplication comes first, so we're going to do this. Becomes 6 minus 75, and we have nothing else to do. Okay, now let's talk about how to do 6 minus 75. Let's go to the number line. Okay, here we go. We create our number line, put 0. We start with the first integer and its sign, plus 6. We then forget about it. Done. We look at the next sign. What do we see? A minus sign. That means whatever we do, we're going to go in this direction. The only question is how far. Here's your answer. 75 units to the left. So let's do that. The first 6 units going this way are taken up, getting to 0. Now the question is, how many more units do we go this way? Well, question mark plus 6 has to equal the 75. So if you want, you can make yourself another little equation here. How would you solve for this question mark here? You'd subtract 6 on both sides. And you would get that this question mark distance equals 69. Right there. Okay, so let's review what we did. We started out at plus 6. Once we had our starting point, we forgot about that plus 6. We shrunk it down. We looked at this sign, saw that it was negative. That tells us we're going to be moving in this direction. How far are we going to go in this direction? 75 units. The first 6 units are taken up, getting to 0. Now, how many units are left? Whatever this is, plus 6 has to give us 75, and the answer is 69. So we end up at negative 69. And that is our final answer for this problem. Okay, next one, another PEMDAS. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay. We have division, multiplication, division by a negative. Okay. Sometimes I think it's helpful to write it in. Division, multiplication, and division. We go to PEMDAS. What do we see? Multiplication is not before division necessarily. You go first come, first served. So we are going to move in this direction. We're going to do 9 divided by 3 is 3. If it helps you, you can rewrite everything. You don't have to do it all in one fell swoop. So now we have this, and we're going to reevaluate this. We're going to forget about this up here. It's a whole new ball game now. Okay. We have multiplication and division. These are of equal value, so we go first come, first serve. 3 times 6 is 18. Now we have 18 divided by negative 2. This is the only operation left. So we have 18 over negative 2. We know our final answer is going to be negative. So for a while, I'm going to forget about this. How do we break down 18 over 2? 9 times 2 over 2. Our final answer is negative 9. Next one. Okay. More integers. Okay, very interesting how to handle this. All right. We have 9 minus 3 plus negative 6. I like that the negative integer was put in parentheses. I like that. That's how I like to do it. Okay. In previous examples, we have used the number line. We're going to use the number line here, but we're not quite ready to do it. Let me show you why. Okay, we're going to start at the number line. There's my 0. We're going to start here, positive 9. Once we have that listed, we're going to forget about this. Once we have that first point plotted, we're going to forget about that. Okay? Sorry. Shrink it down. Next move, we look at the sign. It's negative. That means we're going to be going in this direction. How far are we going to go? 3 units. So we're going to go from 9, positive 9, to positive 6 because this is 3 units. Okay, we are now located right here. We're going to forget about this entire integer and its sign. We're done with him. Let's move him over here to the shrink pile. Okay. Now, because we're at positive 6, I'm going to erase this original spot. I'm going to erase all of this. We are now at positive 6. Now, look at this. We have a plus sign and a minus sign. Which way do we face? If we honor the plus sign, that means we would be facing this way on our next move. If we honor the minus sign, that means we would be moving this way on the number line. So which way do we go? We cannot make a move on the number line until we reduce the plus and the minus to one sign. How do we do that? Okay. Fortunately, we have a protocol. And here it is. When you have a plus sign and a minus sign, and these two come up against each other and battle, a minus sign results. If you have a minus sign first and then a plus sign, same thing, minus sign results. When you have two plus signs facing each other, a plus sign results. And when you have two minus signs facing each other, a plus sign results. Okay, so folks, this is something that I would screenshot. You have to know that. You have to know how to handle it when two signs come up against each other and battle. You have to know what the result is. So let's use this as a guide. Here we go. We have a plus and a minus doing battle. The minus sign is going to win. We have a minus sign and a minus sign battling. The plus sign is going to win. We have a plus and a minus battling. The minus sign is going to win. Now, folks, we have definitive directions which way to go. So I'm going to erase this scenario when we weren't sure which way we were going. And now we're going to proceed. Okay. We are at plus 6. Our next move is to look at this sign. Negative. That means we're going this way. How far are we going to go? 6 units. When we go 6 units to the left, we end up at 0. Okay? We forget about this guy. Move him to the shrink pile. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see if I can undo that. Okay. Good. We are now at 0, right here. Once we're at a new location, we forget the old location. We're done with it. We forget even how we got there. Now we're at 0. By the way, we're done with this too. Okay. Next move, plus sign. That means we're facing this way. How far are we going to go? 8 units. We're going to end up at positive 8. We are now done with this. Don't even want to think about it anymore. Gosh, I did the same thing. I'm sorry. There we go. We are now here. We're going to erase all this. Next sign is a negative. Means we're going to face this way. How far are we going to go? 6 units that way. Here's our final spot, right there. So all of this, ladies and gentlemen, reduces to positive 2. That's your final answer. Next one. Okay. John paid $78 for 3 pizzas. How much did he spend? How much, whenever you see how much, whatever follows that is the variable. How much is going to be X dollars per pizza, per 1 pizza. There's your proportion. How would you solve this? Personally, I would cross multiply. Next, I would divide by 3. 3 into 78. $26 is your answer. Next one. Okay, ratio problem. We're going to look for all the information that this problem gives us. We're going to look between the lines. School is a ratio of 10 girls to 8 boys in each class. They want to know that if a class has 108 students, how many girls are in the class. So here's what we want to know. 108 students. X girls. Remember what I told you, folks. Look for words like how many, how much. Whatever follows that, that's your unknown. How many girls? Immediately you say X girls. That's what we're looking for. Okay, now, we can't use this information they gave us. If I bring this down here and try to do a proportion, look at this. The units don't match. We have girls in the numerator, but look, here we have boys and here we have students. You cannot solve this proportion as is. So what are we going to do? We are going to be investigators, and we're going to say to ourselves, okay, it's true that there's 10 girls for 8 boys, but what's the hidden information in here? The hidden information in here is that there's 10 girls for every 18 students. Because 10 plus 8 is 18 students. And there's also hidden information in here that there's 8 boys for every 18 students. Okay. Now, here's what we're trying to find out. X girls for 108 students. Which of these weapons are we going to use? We're going to use the one that has girls in the numerator and students in the denominator. This has boys and students, girls and students. That's the one we're going to use. Now, our units line up, ladies and gentlemen. We have girls and girls, students and students. Now we have a proportion that's ready to be solved. How would I do this? I would say to myself, I have 2 fractions facing each other with an equal sign. Whenever you have 2 fractions facing each other with an equal sign, it's an invitation to cross multiply. Okay, that's how I set up every division problem. The numerator drops inside the box. Okay, how do I approach this now? $18 doesn't go into 1, it doesn't go into 10. How many times does it go into 108? Okay, so I say to myself, how many times does 18 go into 108? I think about this as being close to 20, and this being a little bit over 100, so I might try 5 first. Okay, what is 18 times 5? Remember, I go this way. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 plus 8 is 40. So that would give me 90. What happened? I got 18. Is 18 less than the divisor? Answer no. Therefore, that is not correct. Let's try 6. I would come up here and do 6 times 18 in my head like this. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 8 is 48. 60 plus 48 is 108. Therefore, that's going to be 60. That's your final answer. Let's do one more, and we'll end this video. Oh, conversion. Okay. $220 yards equals X feet. Okay. What do we know about the relationship between yards and feet? We know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. So these are directly connected with this formula right there. Because there's a direct connection between yards and feet in this formula, we can go right to a proportion. So we can do this. 1 yard is to 3 feet as 220 yards is to x feet. When you do that, double check. You have yards in the numerator, feet in the denominator. You're good to go. How would I do this? You have two fractions facing each other with an equal sign. X times 1 equals 3 times 220. X gives you 660. Okay. There's another way to do this. And in the interest of time, I'm not going to do it at this juncture. So let's end the video right here.